Phil, Sojourn Solutions. Who are Sojourn? What do they do? And more importantly, who are you?
So Phil Boyden, Sojourn Solutions. I joined the company as a senior marketing automation consultant, and I've gone into sales really from there. So I help Oracle and Adobe. I help sell to people, but basically because of what we do at Sojourn, we are a marketing operations agency. But we also understand all the MarTech that sits under those operations. So we actually go into a company, we work out where they are, how well are they performing in marketing, and we help them grow from being kind of a cost centre for marketing right the way through to being actually driving that revenue for the business.
Gotcha, excellent. So Colin Day, I'm the Managing Director of Oktopost business across Europe, Middle East and Africa, as well as Asia Pacific. Oktopost, if you think about the arms of an octopus, they're far-reaching tentacles. Mm-hmm. That's what we say we help our customers with, right? From a social perspective, is posting content across those social networks, and then it's like helping them measure the ROI of that performance. So why not octopus? Hey, the brand was already taken. And then it's like why a K rather than a C? Hey, it seemed like cool marketing at the time that we came up with the brand, right? So there's our brand stories, Phil.
Yeah.
So Sojourn Solutions, like helping marketing organisations go through a transformation journey, whatever that transformation journey may look like. What are some of the bigger projects, not the names of the companies, but some of the bigger transformations, like initiatives that Sojourn have helped their customers with, and how's that changed over the time that you've been there?
I've only been there a couple of years, but we've got some customers that we've been running.
Technology is
a
lifetime
change, yeah. But some of our biggest companies, we have been there since the company was formed. So there's a big telecoms company where we've been in there now for 6 years, and we've been building and growing what they do over that time. And there's now not a merger, but there's actually a joint venture between two telecoms companies.
Right.
And we've actually got the marketing operations to such a point with the one company that the other has just dropped their MarTech, and we're rolling them in onto there. And we're doing that. There's partitioning. We've had to go to Enterprise and Eloqua company that they're on. So we've got to go from the standard Eloqua to Enterprise to be able to roll all these things in, and we're basically growing the number of platforms they're actually having to use to get that marketing done.
And you mentioned Eloqua there. So like I know from a Sojourn perspective, it's not just Eloqua that your customer base is. I mean, I know we're big partners, both of us, right? With the Oracle's corporation, but others. This sounds like the BBC moment, right? It's like others do exist.
Others are available, yeah. So we work with Oracle, Marketo, and Salesforce within those marketing platforms. So it's mainly Eloqua from the Oracle side.
Yep.
We do Marketo for Adobe, some Adobe Campaign, more the B2C side of things. And then we have kind of Pardot and the rest of the marketing cloud, Journey Builder, Email Studio, that sort of thing.
And you mentioned marketing operations.
Yeah.
What does marketing operations mean? It's like to you, to Sojourn, and when you first start having a conversation with a customer, it's like does it mean one thing and then morph into something else?
So marketing operations really combines a lot more than just looking at marketing. So we, when we go in to work with a customer, we're looking at marketing and sales alignment. Are they using the same language? Do they know the actual lead stages? Does that match what the marketing wants to pass on? Is that really what the sales wants to accept? And vice versa, when it's dropped, how does it come back through to marketing? How do we further nurture those leads? We then look at the data. So we find a lot of the larger companies, there'll be acquisitions going on, there'll be a new e-commerce platform over here, and the data they really need for marketing, for cross-sell, upsell, and new customers is siloed all over the place. So we look at how to gather that information in, how to get everything sitting in one kind of marketing database, just to make sure that we know everything about those customers, so that the we can market in the right way at the right time with the right message.
So a 360-degree view of the
Exactly.
customer. Right?
Yes.
So if we think of the data elements, that make up that view, let's use Eloqua as an example, right? It's like someone lands on a website. It's like we cookie them. It's like we're taking them from an unknown to hopefully a known as they come back, and maybe we get them to convert through a landing page.
Yeah.
It's like through some gated content.
Yeah.
Right. So Eloqua is very good at tracking that information.
It's really good. So Eloqua uses tracking scripts there, and we're currently moving some companies from third-party to first-party cookies, so that allows your own, rather than having an Eloqua cookie, you've got your own cookie, own branded cookie sitting there now, so that's better for the browsers. The moment someone goes on the website, that cookie is dropped, and that information is collected. It sits in a visitor table in Eloqua. That visitor table, the moment someone actually clicks through from an email or submits a form, that link is made to that contact. So all that history from the visitor table now sits in with that customer. So we know historically what they've been doing and how they've been looking around that company website.
Excellent. So great from being able to take or map the web traffic journey or the journey on the website. Great for email. Right?
Yeah.
It's like understanding. It's like what's been delivered, what's been opened, who took what CTA, what call to action.
Yeah.
And being able to tie that into the visibility of that 360-degree view. Great from being able to bring in third-party data sources. So maybe connecting to a CVent, for example, to bring in like in-person event activity.
Yeah, and webinars as well. So that's and there's a concept of external activities that sit within the Eloqua platform. So anything that Eloqua doesn't naturally know about, we can get in there as an external activity, and you have activity types and named and stuff. So you and I have been to events together in the past, so you may well be in our system.
Excellent. Thanks,
we're
Phil.
tracking you.
Not in spam yet.
So you'll be in there as at this event on that date and that time, and that actually shows there's a profiler element as well. Goes over to the sales guys, and in there there's a graph of where people have been interacting. It covers email sends, website visits, form submits, and these different external activities as well. So you get a nice graphical view of how people are interacting.
So the one key thing that's missing from that lot, is the social view.
Yeah, the social interactions.
Yeah, the social engagements, and that's where Oktopost comes into it. It's like from an Oktopost perspective, we tie into to the Eloqua, and others do exist, but we tie into the Eloqua ecosystem very well, in so much as you know from being an Oktopost partner, it's like publishing content out over the corporate channels, or giving some of that content to your employees so that they can amplify the reach over their own personal networks, and then measuring or collecting the insights and intelligence around what's being engaged with and who's engaging with it, and then bringing that into the Eloqua environment as well. That's where Oktopost adds value. It
really does, and lead scoring and having that full picture really helps at that point. I mean, the way that you can actually set it up, this, so that those clicks on the social network, they actually come in and they sit in Eloqua in exactly the same way as the clicking of landing page and website visits, just like we've seen for the regular tracking scripts. All that rich information comes in as well.
Yeah, the way I like to view it, I mean, I used to be a customer, as you know, of Oktopost. The way that I used to tell the story internally at my organisation was that website journey that we've just spoken about, right? Someone from unknown to known. When they become known, we light up the entire history of what they've done on the website, right? That's exactly what Oktopost does. From a social perspective, right? It's like, and it's organic social, not paid social. So this is using your own networks or your own channels, i.e. the corporate accounts, as well as those organic that you earn, which is the employee channel. So Phil, I know you had a question for us regarding data privacy and how the social engagement data that's collected by Oktopost is managed from a GDPR perspective.
Yeah, so basically when you integrate Oktopost to Eloqua, it creates custom objects in Eloqua. That information then flows from the one platform into there. We can then use it for segmentation, routing people through canvases, lead scoring. It becomes available for that full-on knowledge of what's going on. My question really is, when does that information come across to know that data privacy is being abided by?
Yeah, so from a data privacy perspective, the content that you're creating inside the Oktopost platform is your content, right? You as the brand, right, as the company using the tool. You publish it out onto the network. Someone starts to engage with it. They may, it's like, it may be a like, it may be a reshare, it may be a comment, etc. Right? We bring that insight and that intelligence back into a social profile that we create for that individual within inside the Oktopost platform, and then through our AI matching technology, we look for a known lead or contact within inside the marketing automation system, Eloqua in the example you used, or the CRM system, right? Or the CRM system. And if we're able to effect a match, then we take the data that you already own within inside Oktopost, so you know the campaign, you know the type of content, you know who published it, you know what they're engaging with, right? And you know the type of engagement. None of that is user or PII, right? It's not profile information from the networks. It's information that you own. We take that and associate it to that known lead or contact record within inside the marketing automation or CRM system. So by virtue of the fact that it's a known lead or contact within inside your marketing automation or CRM system, one would assume that you've already satisfied your GDPR or data processing requirements, whether that be like legitimate business interest or consent.
Yeah, makes sense. And how do you go about matching that data? Because, I mean, obviously sometimes I'll be on a social network, but I'm there under my Gmail address, and other times I'm there under a company profile. How does that work to match that in and make sure you're hitting the right contacts?
That's the secret, Phil. If I told you that, it's like I might as well give you the Oktopost company. No, I might as well show you.
Maybe not on camera.
Yeah, exactly. My daughter's a murder detective. Let's not go there. But or maybe we go back to the film Piranha that you were talking about earlier on. It's like in the warm up. But look, it's like how do we go about doing it? There's several things, right? It's like understanding who is engaging. One of the ways that we do that match is we hook into the tracking cookies that you spoke about earlier on, right? Yeah. So whether it be Munchkin code from Marketo, whether it be the Eloqua tracking code, Pardot, HubSpot, etc. So we can hook into that tracking code. We also have our own tracking capabilities within inside Oktopost, and we use a matching algorithm that is a predictive match score, right? So it's not like field A equals field B, field C equals field C. It gives us a predictive match score, right? It's like our AI engine, and it says, okay, right, I've got one over here inside Oktopost. I've got one over here inside, let's say, Eloqua. I believe that there's an 85% probability that these are one and the same. Is that good enough, for you, Mr. or Mrs. Organisation, for us to effect a match?
Okay,
right?
Perfect.
And if that is the case, then we do that join, and all of that historical information flows across into marketing automation and CRM.
Yeah, I mean the fact you're looking at the Munchkin code or the GUID for Eloqua within that cookie, it makes that match.
Or GUIDs, everyone loves a GUID.
Oh yes, it makes it really really simple to match there.
Yeah, it does. I mean the way that we look at it is, or what we say is that if it exists inside the marketing automation system and it exists inside Oktopost, there's a 95% likelihood that we'll be able to effect a correct match.
Yeah, that's great.
And then, as you said, it's like once you've got the information into the marketing automation system, that's when the fun really begins, right? It's like, and that's certainly where Sojourn comes into it, right? In so much as getting the data in there, is one thing, and for Oktopost, for us to turn on the integrations with the likes of Eloqua or Marketo, HubSpot, Pardot, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, in order for us to turn them on, it literally is a 2-minute job, right? I always say, go away, make a cup of tea, actually, before you do that, put in the credentials for the target system. Yeah, go away, create a cup of tea. In Eloqua's example, the CDOs are all created automatically. Come back and the system can start flowing data.
Yeah.
Right. It's then what do you do with it? You mentioned lead scoring, segmentation, attribution modelling. Moving someone from nurture stream A to nurture stream B based upon what they're engaging with on social, notifying a salesperson that someone's active, someone that they've got in an active sales opportunity is active on social. All of that requires a strategy, and someone to set up the workflows and technology. Enhance the platforms to make the platforms do what
to use the best use of that data that we can get. So
that's where Sojourn comes in, right?
Yeah, completely. So we've built. There's a couple of large companies we've actually integrated Oktopost for and started looking at the lead scoring based on that, and the fact that Oktopost does that, what the activity it comes in and it's dated is perfect, because you can set these lead scoring models up, for example, to degrade over time. So you have the profile side, which is at that point with the lead scoring, you're looking at, is this someone or a company they really want to do business with? And then we look at the engagement side. So with that social interaction coming into that engagement side as well, that's really useful. So the date comes in, say that they've liked, commented. Let's say if they've commented on something, as a condition it's a good comment, that's something within the last week, they're really engaged with us. If they then don't engage for a couple of weeks, Eloqua can automatically degrade that score, so we know there's a peak of interest, so we can see those peaks and troughs as people go through their journey.
And as they go through the journey, the journey is going to be top, middle, and bottom of funnel, obviously, right? Actually, it may even be post execution of a contract, right? Yeah. So picking up on something that you just said there, so like positive comment. Positive comment, you may want to increase the lead score. If it's a negative comment, you may want to degrade the lead score. Or if it's post the sale, you might want to let the CSM know, or whoever the person is responsible for the management of that account, that hey, do you know what? Someone's not happy with you on social. All possible, right? Yeah. Once you've got the data inside.
Yeah, because those comments could be advocacy, or they could be detractors, couldn't they? Right. So it's really good to track where they are.
Yeah. So Phil, I'm going to change tack a little bit, and I know that from a Sojourn perspective, you've got a great framework over at Sojourn. It's like when you look to bring a new customer on, or even work with an existing customer. There's 6 pillars to your assessment model that you run a customer through. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about that model and what it could bring to them?
Yeah, of course. So when we come into a company with Sojourn, we are looking at 6 different pillars, as Colin said. We're looking at marketing and sales alignment. So we're looking at the leads, the vernacular used around those leads. Are they using the same language in marketing and sales? Are they expecting things at the right time? Is there a number of people coming through? We then look at the data. So again, that is to do with all the data that could be available. So with acquisitions and things like that, we find that quite often there's a huge amount of siloed data in an organisation, and they just can't get to that data necessarily to use it sensibly to be able to help. So they can help cross-sell, upsell, people initially coming into the funnel. All those things we look at to make sure the data is being used to the best of its ability. We then look at the campaigns that are running and against that data as well, but we look at all the analysis and reports on that, and we find things that are really working, things that aren't, gaps within there, kind of a bit of white space as to where things aren't being utilised but could be. We then come around more to the back end of things then, so we look at the people in the team. So if you're looking at Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you need a very different set of skills to if you're using Eloqua, for example. So there's a little bit more SQL-based knowledge required for segmenting in Marketing Cloud, and it's more drag and drop based in Eloqua. So, what skills have we got? If people are looking at changing platforms, who have they got on the team? And not only does it suit the business for the different platforms, but is the team going to be the right team for doing that? We then look at the processes. So, there's sometimes we talking to a company recently and getting the data out of their e-commerce platform to see what's happening online compared to what's happening in the stores was taking around a month for them to extract all that data and get it into one place. So what we look at doing is automating that, get the data in and through, whether it's templated spreadsheets to move them on in one way so they automatically cleanse themselves, or whether that's actually putting middleware in and getting that information all through. So trying to streamline those processes to speed everything up. And finally we look at the MarTech. I always say finally because often we'll go in and people want to strip out their MarTech. In fact, what they need to do is use it better and get the right data in there. So we finally look at the MarTech and just make sure it's still fit for purpose and driving the company in the right direction.
So really, Phil, those 6, in my mind, I've distilled down to 3.
Yeah.
Right? It's like skill set.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, mindset.
Yeah.
As much as, what's the strategy, what journey are we going to go on, right? It's like the strategy comes before anything else, right? So you could bucket those 6 into and maybe those 6 fit across multiples, right? Mindset, skill set, and finally the tool set that you use in order to operationalize or industrialize the strategy. What I've seen across my very short career, it's like you can tell that I'm so young, I'm straight out of school. Now what I've seen across my 30 odd years in industry is that as a CMO, very rarely do you get a blank canvas to work with, right? It's like when that comes along, grasp it with both hands, right? Because that's nirvana, right? It's like but it really comes down to any transformation exercise. Think about the mindset of the team. Think about the skill set that you've got on the team, and then think about the tool set. When you think about that tool set, I totally agree with you. I've seen organisations that have used, they've invested in a marketing automation platform when really they could have just gone and invested in MailChimp. It's been a glorified email marketing tool.
Yeah, and
how often do you see that?
A lot more than you would hope. You can go into a system and they're paying proper money to basically do email blasts, and they're not, so the data's not there, so they're actually, I've seen companies where they're doing a download from somewhere, loading it in, sending that to everyone, and they're like, great job done. And it's no benefit to them, so loads of people unsubscribe, people don't bother reading it, there's no interaction because they're just getting stuff. And hey, we all unsubscribe from rubbish that comes into our inboxes. So using these platforms properly, getting all that data set in, assessing what is working, what's not, we can tweak that, and we can make sure that we're messaging people at the right time with something they want to know about.
But that's where it comes back to what you said earlier on in the conversation, right? That it's about having that 360-degree view of the customer, and by customer we also mean prospect.
Yes.
Yeah. And that could be down at the individual level, or it could be up at the account levels, like now that we all talk about account-based marketing.
Yeah, so again, these platforms have that option as well, so you can build all that in. So when you're segmenting, we could have a look at, say, companies that we really want to be working with. So you can look at that company data and sit that there. We can then look at whether they're interacting socially at this moment in time, and this would grab all the people, and then we can exclude the people that aren't as well. So your segment isn't just grabbing people in, it's also saying, well, not those people at this time. And that's when you really start to build a really precise and bespoke segment for this next message. And you can leave that being automated. So, every day it goes and checks the segment. Is there anyone new that really needs this message? Have they seen it before? Yeah, well, let's not worry about that. But let's send this message out to.
And on the social side that we've been talking about so far, it's like I've been keen to stress that it's organic, right? The Oktopost platform supports an organic social strategy. From a social perspective, I'm conscious that that's only part of the conversation, right? There's also this huge thing called paid, right? And a lot of people spend a lot of money on their paid ads, right? You touch upon a great point there, though, from a segmentation perspective. If I know someone that's engaging with my organic content, for example, right, or email or whatever, but let's just say it's organic at the moment, right? I could create a segment of that within inside the likes of Eloqua, and I could take that segment and then use that to run paid, put it into LinkedIn Ad Manager, for example, and run a targeted LinkedIn ad campaign against those individuals, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's methods of pushing people out to campaigns just like that, directly from the canvases in these platforms.
But it all comes down to having the data in the first place.
Initial knowledge of how they're interacting.
So we always say that content is king or queen, right, in marketing. When sure it is. You need quality content in order to run an integrated campaign strategy. But it's then understanding the data, or being able to get all of the data insights and metrics, and then I always say that the organisation that's going to win the day isn't the one with the most data. It's the one with the completest set and
the strategy around it as well.
Right, and knows what to do with it, right?
Yeah, and I find that really interesting. So we find more and more people are doing their own research these days. So more and more times when we go into a prospect, they're like, from right at the start, they're not actually asking everybody in for those questions. They already have whittled it down to 2 or 3 people. And so it's really interesting seeing some really big companies that aren't actually hitting this strategy correctly, who just, they're missing out on a lot of opportunities because they're just not getting that content out there in the right place and monitoring that. So I do think those social interactions are really, really important for that.
Yeah, I think there's if you look at a number of the industry analysts that cover sales and marketing, Forrester, Gartner, CB, etc., right? It's like if you look at some of the research and output from those guys, I think there's a statistic that they'll say somewhere upwards of 60 to 80% of the sales cycle from a B2B perspective is complete before the prospect ever touches a human at the sales organisation. Yeah, and that just talks to that fact that you just put out there, right, Phil?
Yes, yeah, completely. Yeah, the personal research, and we need to know when they've engaged the right amount to reach out or to pass them to sales.
Cool. Phil, question for you. This can sound like a very, very strange question, so bear with me, but it's something that we ask everyone that we stick in front of the camera, right? Yeah, so question for you. What's keeping your customers up at night professionally? And that's the weird bit, the professionally bit, because I'm sure you could tell us all about what's keeping them up at night, not professionally, but keeping it professional.
Do I have to avoid politics?
You've got it, right? Sign this disclaimer.
So,
what are some of the big challenges that you're seeing your customers face?
The biggest one, I have to admit, does seem to be disjointed and unclean data. That's not a leprosy thing there, I just mean they haven't cleaned their data. But that does seem to be one of the main concerns we see. The number of customers where we go in, they've got, and it's often to do with acquisitions, but it's also to do with different business units being allowed to do their own thing, and there might be some guidance coming down, and if the guidance isn't actually this is the company strategy, then different departments go off and do different things, and you find out that one department is emailing out to everybody and therefore causing unsubscribes to other departments, and they also don't have the information to run their campaigns on. So often find really quite complex companies doing the bare minimum in marketing because that's all they've got that they can lay their hands on. So I really think data and knowledge of what's going on around the place is key.
Gotcha. You're seeing more and more jobs pop up, right, for data stewards and data strategists. So I think that talks nicely to that point. Phil, where can people find more out about you? Where can people find more out about Sojourn? How can they follow you?
So they can go to our website, sojournsolutions.com, where there's a load of information about what we do, the platforms we cover. But there's also a link on there to resources, and that's our blogs talking about the latest things within the industry. That's split out as to there's like things on cookieless world, there's things on the different platforms. We also do a marketing automation comparison webinar once a quarter. So that looks at Marketo, Eloqua, Salesforce, and HubSpot. And basically across those platforms it assesses where they are, what the changes are, and how they compare against each other at the moment, with advantages, all the pros and cons across those platforms.
Excellent. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Colin Day. This is Phil Boyden. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks. Goodbye.